morning, automotive enthusiasts. I'm Steve.
And I'm Claire, and you're listening to Auto Intelligence, the perfect companion to your morning brew as we dive into the automotive industry's most fascinating developments.
Today, we're tackling a revolution that's fundamentally changing what it means to own and operate a vehicle. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering your car just got better overnight.
That's not science fiction, Steve. Last month, Mercedes deployed an over-the-air update that added 37 miles of range to certain EV models through motor efficiency tweaks. No dealership visit required. This isn't just a cool feature, it's a glimpse into the future of the entire automotive industry.
And that future has a name: software-defined vehicles. Today, we're breaking down what this shift means for manufacturers, dealers, consumers, and the very concept of what a car is.
So grab your coffee and buckle up. This is going to be quite a ride.
Let's start with the basics. Claire, when we talk about software-defined vehicles, what exactly do we mean?
Great question. Traditional vehicles rely on hundreds of distributed electronic control units, or ECUs, each dedicated to specific tasks like managing engine performance or controlling your infotainment system. These systems operate independently and are rarely updated after the vehicle leaves the factory.
Like separate appliances, all working under the same hood.
Exactly. But software-defined vehicles take a completely different approach. Instead of all those separate computers, SDVs consolidate computing power into centralized or zonal architectures, essentially creating a unified brain for the entire vehicle.
So we're moving from a collection of single-purpose mini-computers to one powerful central system?
Precisely. And the implications are enormous. When your vehicle has this type of architecture, it becomes less like a fixed product and more like a platform that can evolve throughout its life cycle.
I heard someone describe it as turning cars into smartphones on wheels.
That's a great analogy. Just like your phone gets better with updates, SDVs can receive new features, performance enhancements, security patches, and bug fixes remotely. This is enabled through what's called over-the-air updates, or OTA.
OTA updates are the backbone of this whole revolution, right?
Absolutely. Without OTA capability, a software-defined vehicle would just be software-defined when it leaves the factory. The magic happens when manufacturers can push updates to vehicles already on the road.
So instead of your car gradually becoming obsolete, it could potentially keep improving?
That's the promise, and it's already happening. Beyond that Mercedes range increase I mentioned, we've seen Tesla improve braking distances, Ford enhance Blue Cruise driver assistance, and BMW add features like highway assist, all through software updates to vehicles already in customers' driveways.
I think our listeners will agree that's pretty revolutionary. But like any technological shift, I imagine the adoption isn't happening overnight.
No, but it's accelerating quickly. According to SBD Automotive's 2023 Connected Car Forecast, 66% of new cars sold in the US, Europe, and China were already OTA capable. That's about 180 million vehicles, and they predict that number could reach 500 million by 2030.
Even more telling is that by 2030, industry analysts expect 81% of new vehicles in OEM fleets to be software-defined. The direction is clear.
Steve, let's talk dollars and cents. How big is this market opportunity?
It's massive, but interestingly, there's quite a range in the projections. Market reports vary widely in their estimates, which tells us something about how transformative and uncertain this shift really is.
What are we looking at in terms of numbers?
Markets and Markets forecasts the software-defined vehicle market to grow from about $213.5 billion in 2024 to $1.2 trillion by 2030, at a compound annual growth rate of 34%. Meanwhile, another report from Precedence Research suggests a current market around $50 billion, growing to over $700 billion by 2035.
That's an enormous range. Why such different projections?
It comes down to how analysts define the market. Some focus narrowly on the software systems themselves, while others include the full ecosystem of connected services, subscriptions, and hardware. But the key takeaway is that everyone agrees this is a massive growth area for the industry.
And it's not just about selling new cars with better software, is it?
Not at all. This shift enables automakers to move from a one-time sales model to ongoing revenue streams through digital services and subscriptions.
We're already seeing this with features like advanced driver assistance, navigation, infotainment, and even performance upgrades being offered on demand rather than built in.
Right. And the data shows about 25% of consumers have already paid for in-car digital services, which rises to 44% among younger drivers.
That generational divide is fascinating. It suggests future car buyers will be much more comfortable with the subscription model.
Though there's still a gap between what automakers hope consumers will pay and what they're actually willing to shell out.
How big is that gap?
Automakers estimate drivers are willing to pay around $11 per month for digital services, while drivers say it's closer to 7.7, about a 30% difference.
And we're seeing significant regional variations too. According to Deloitte's research, willingness to pay for connected vehicle services reaches 67% in India and 48% in China, but only 26% in the US.
That regional disparity is something manufacturers will need to navigate carefully. What works in one market might not translate to another.
Absolutely. But beyond subscriptions, there's another major revenue opportunity: data monetization. Vehicle data supports services like usage-based insurance, fleet analytics, and smart city integrations,
Creating entirely new business opportunities beyond traditional car sales. It's a whole new economic model for the industry. You're listening to Auto Intelligence, sponsored by Auto Agentic, the intelligent solution helping dealerships boost efficiency and customer satisfaction.
Let's get into some real-world examples of how this technology is being implemented. One company at the forefront is Sonatus, which has developed a comprehensive OTA management platform called Updata.
I recently came across an interview with Sanjay Khatri, their head of product, who made a really interesting point about the importance of OTA updates.
What did he say?
He said, and I quote, "OTA updates are an essential part of software-defined vehicles, allowing OEMs to continuously update and enhance vehicles throughout their lifetimes."
That's the fundamental shift we're talking about, from static products to evolving platforms.
Exactly. And what's impressive about Sonatus Updater is how it addresses the practical challenges of delivering these updates. For instance, their Delta Update technology can reduce update package sizes by up to 95%.
That's huge for cellular data usage and bandwidth constraints.
Definitely. The platform also provides end-to-end traceability during OTA campaigns, giving engineers granular visibility into where and when update faults occur. They claim this accelerates troubleshooting and debugging by up to 70%.
Beyond Sonatus, we're seeing major automakers make significant moves in this space. Volkswagen Group recently announced its unified software platform, VW.OS, which will power vehicles across its brands.
And we can't ignore Tesla, which has been the pioneer in this space. They've been deploying OTA updates since 2012, long before most traditional automakers.
Another interesting partnership is between Volvo Group and Daimler Truck, who are collaborating on the first software-defined truck platform.
And Renault has partnered with Valeo to enhance SDV capabilities with high-performance computing, enabling rapid adoption of new functionalities and cloud-based diagnostics.
It's worth noting that different automakers are taking different approaches to this transition. Some are developing their software in-house, while others are partnering with tech companies or using third-party platforms.
And the underlying architecture choices vary too, from fully centralized to zonal approaches. The industry hasn't settled on a universal standard yet.
Which makes sense given how early we are in this transition. But one thing all these examples have in common is the recognition that software is becoming the primary differentiator in the automotive space.
As one industry executive put it, hardware gets you in the game, but software helps you win it. Now, Claire, not everything about this shift is smooth sailing. There are significant challenges and risks that come with software-defined vehicles.
Cybersecurity has to be at the top of that list. By their nature, SDVs have a much larger attack surface than traditional vehicles.
The numbers are concerning. According to research from VIC1, 530 automotive vulnerabilities were identified in 2024 alone. That's more than double the number from just 5 years ago.
And cybersecurity firm Upstream recorded 215 automotive cybersecurity incidents in 2024, with cloud and back-end systems as the most frequent targets through ransomware attacks, data breaches, and phishing attacks.
These aren't just theoretical risks. A compromised vehicle could potentially lead to safety issues, privacy violations, or even be used as an entry point into broader networks.
And here's where OTA updates present a paradox. They're both the solution and a potential problem.
How so?
Well, OTA updates allow manufacturers to quickly patch security vulnerabilities when they're discovered, much faster than traditional recalls. but the update mechanism itself could be an attack vector if not properly secured.
That's why we're seeing the emergence of approaches like cryptographic signing of updates, rollback protection, and zero trust architectures in the automotive space.
Beyond cybersecurity, there are other challenges too. Data privacy is a major concern as SDVs generate vast amounts of personal and operational data.
Then there's the complexity of integrating software across diverse hardware platforms and managing continuous updates, which demands new development processes and testing environments.
And regulatory frameworks are still evolving to address these new safety and security risks. The UN Economic Commission for Europe has introduced regulations like R156, specifically addressing software updates and cybersecurity management.
There's also the question of infrastructure readiness. OTA updates require reliable connectivity, which isn't universally available.
That's a great point, Steve. While urban areas might have excellent connectivity, what about rural regions? Will those drivers be left behind in the software-defined revolution?
It's a valid concern, and one that highlights the need for thoughtful implementation strategies that don't create a digital divide in automotive technology.
And let's not forget consumer acceptance. People are accustomed to updating their phones, but cars represent a much larger investment, and safety considerations are significantly higher.
Absolutely. Trust will be crucial for widespread adoption, particularly when we're talking about features that directly impact vehicle performance and safety. As we wrap up our discussion today, I think it's worth taking a step back and reflecting on what all this means for the industry and consumers.
The first question that comes to my mind is whether traditional automakers are culturally prepared for this transition. They've spent decades perfecting hardware engineering, but software development is a fundamentally different discipline.
That's a critical point. We're seeing many OEMs establish software divisions or acquire tech startups to build that expertise, but integrating those cultures isn't easy.
And there are liability questions too. What happens when an OTA update fails or introduces new problems? We've already seen a class action lawsuit in California over a botched battery management update.
I'm also thinking about the consumer experience. Will drivers embrace the subscription model, or will there be pushback against paying for features that traditionally came with the vehicle?
The regional differences we discussed earlier suggest cultural factors will play a big role in answering that question.
Looking ahead, where do you see this all going, Claire?
I think the SDV transition is inevitable, but the pace and implementation will vary widely. Those automakers who master software development and OTA capabilities will have a significant competitive advantage.
And the business model will continue to evolve. We'll likely see much more experimentation with subscription packages, freemium models, and bundled services.
Ultimately, I believe SDVs will lead to safer, more efficient, and more personalized mobility experiences, but the journey there won't be without bumps in the road.
That's well put. The software-defined vehicle isn't just a technological evolution, it's a complete reimagining of what a car is and how we interact with it.
As the industry navigates this transition, we'll continue to bring you the latest developments right here on Auto Intelligence.
So until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your ears on our podcast for all the latest from the automotive world.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode of Auto Intelligence was produced by the team at AutoAgentic, a pioneering AI-driven platform transforming the automotive retail industry. Founded in 2024, AutoAgentic delivers a powerful suite of intelligent, adaptive tools designed to help dealerships streamline operations, optimize sales performance, and elevate the customer experience.
What truly sets AutoAgentic apart is their human-centered consultative approach. They're LLM agnostic and deeply trained on the nuances of the automotive industry. But more importantly, AutoAgentic is built to empower your team, not replace it.
As strategic co-pilots, they partner closely with OEMs and dealer groups to ensure AI implementation is practical, effective, and aligned with your goals. That's why they're known as the most human AI company in automotive retail.
To learn more, visit www.autoagentic.ai. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.